celebrate this Christmas, he has the highest rated news show on cable. He's on the New York Times bestseller list with his latest book called Killing Jesus. We are happy to welcome him back to The View. Please welcome Bill O'Reilly. You heard us in Hot Topics talking about whether or not there is Christ in Christmas and whether we are forgetting that. You've had a war for years on the fact that there isn't Christ in Christmas.
Well, I mean, we had to take on a couple of campaigns. The most serious one was about 9 years ago when some department stores ordered their employees not to say Merry Christmas. And that was way over the pale. So we won that because we named the department stores and then no one went shopping there. And they said, oh, well, maybe we made a mistake. But then since then, it's been these little, you know, terrorizing fifth graders and that they can't sing Christmas carols. And we just take them one by one. But largely, 75% of Americans want Merry Christmas to be a greeting that is uninhibited. You can't go like that.
So what's the problem if 75% of Americans...
There isn't a problem. The problem is that sometimes the ACLU or these atheist groups will sue certain school districts demanding that they not put up a tree or sing a carol.
Is it possible that they're concerned about all the other religions feeling...
I can't read their minds. I mean,
but you know. It's not... I guess my point is it's not all atheist groups. It's a lot of groups saying, hey, we want to be part of this, but we want some recognition. I don't say it's right or right. I don't say it's right or wrong, but...
The ones that file suits are primarily the ACLU and atheist groups. I don't know any other groups involved. And so, look, you know, it's a federal holiday, and that's where I come down on it. U.S. Grant signed it into law. Did you know that? U.S. Grant. Federal holiday, everybody's off, everybody gets paid, so leave it alone.
Well, okay. So we got... So our second one, Bill, is we talked about this at the Hot Topics table because Megyn Kelly got into a lot of hot water because she said that Jesus, excuse me, well, yeah, Jesus. She said Santa and Jesus. Santa and Jesus are white, but it was more referring, we were talking about Santa, the Santa's white part, after an African-American blogger said that Santa should be more racially diverse. Now, you defended Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, it was so stupid. This whole thing is so dopey. So I think this person who wrote this blog or this internet column was being tongue-in-cheek. But she said that as a black woman that she was tired of seeing a fat white guy being portrayed as Santa, and she'd rather have a penguin to symbolize, give.
Yeah, but we talked about it, and,
so that was a genesis, just so your audience knows.
Some of our, you know, Whoopi, I think, and Sherry did feel. I was sorry that it became a racial issue, but they did feel that there should be.
Well, first of all, Santa shouldn't be a racial thing at all. Everybody should enjoy Santa, and it's a spirit. It's a spirit.
What's tough is that, you know, there was a time when I actually thought, no, there shouldn't be. These things shouldn't be racial. But I have to tell you, the last 8 years, I've sort of felt race has become part of everything. Well, it's become part, and so when someone says, you know, Santa should be more diverse, you kind of got to understand it and appreciate that's how she feels.
If everybody wants to be have Santa in their own image, that's fine with me. Historically speaking, Megyn Kelly was absolutely correct.
Everything was white, yeah.
Yes. No. Santa is based on St. Nicholas. Yes, he is.
No, Billy's black because he's packing a... I don't know where you go. Yeah. We've never met.
But Bill,
I don't want to bore everybody with history, but there is a historical basis for Santa Claus.
But the artists that are depicting this person, they were European. Now, that depiction could have been based on their grandfather. I'm saying now, in this day and age, people are saying, we want to look at somebody that may look like us. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when Megyn said it, and I got the tongue-in-cheek, it didn't sound tongue-in-cheek. It was just like, look, he's white, get over it. Stop trying to upset the status quo.
She was coming at it from a historical basis, and that's it. I mean, we went through this because it's interesting. The legend of Santa Claus is very interesting.
Yeah, it's just too bad that it's become a racial issue.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the last time you were here. You were promoting your book, Killing Jesus, and you got a little bit of flack for not referring to Jesus as the Messiah. How did you feel about that?
You know, I get flack for everything, so I'm kind of used to it. And poor Megan, she's just getting into this arena, you know.
You give a little flack.
I give it as good as I get. But some evangelicals are mad that I didn't use the word Christ in Killing Jesus because it's a history book. It says a history book on a cover, and we don't get into whether Jesus was God or not. If you want to believe he's God, absolutely, that's great.
But you believe that he's God.
I do. I'm a Roman Catholic. I mean, that's you have to fill out a form, and you know, you want to be in there.
Part of the application
Yeah, so I do. But my job as a historian, it's a historian to say, look, the guy was a real man. It's out in myth.
You were trying to humanize him and make him something that people can relate to, no matter what the religion.
And on Christmas, in the Christmas season, it's a great thing to know.
But then also in the book, I read the book, I like the book. You when you focused on Jesus, also in the Bible, it really talked a lot about him helping the poor, helping the people that didn't have anything.
Right.
And I noticed in the book you didn't focus.
Oh yes, we did. You missed it then.
No, I read that whole book.
Well, then you need to read it again.
No,
you need to read it again. Let me rebut, please.
Okay.
The reason he was killed was because he was sticking up for the poor and attacking the people who were extorting the poor. And that was a huge theme in this book. All right?
And his anger.
And that's why the Romans and the temple authorities went after him, because he was interrupting the money flow, because the money was coming from the poor who he was representing. And that's the overarch of the book.
So him getting pissed off because it was in his father's house is not something... No, but I would. Yeah. Well, he might, you know, but the anger also that people would be doing this in a house of worship was part of it as well.
Absolutely. He felt it was defiled, but Jesus' main theme, the Nazarenes' main theme is that working people should not be exploited. And that ties into the Pope.
Very nice.
Bill, next book, Killing Santa?
You.
No, the next book is called Killing Mario. But we want to tell you whether we agree with Bill O'Reilly or not.
And she does, secretly.
In many ways, we're good pals. We want you to know that you can go to The View's website to hear Bill read an excerpt from the audiobook version of Killing Jesus. Members of our audience are getting a copy of the book, which you will enjoy. And we will be right back.
The one and only Meryl Streep.